Welcome to rSlash Today I F'd Up, where OP pranks his entire office building. Today I F'd up by using the nuclear option in a game of Monopoly. It was a 4-player family game of Monopoly. My brother, our parents, and I were playing, and I wasn't doing well. I wasn't bankrupt or heavily mortgaged yet, but I could tell that if something drastic didn't change in the next 3 turns or so, I was toast. I didn't have any monopolies, but I did have a couple of 2 out of 3 properties, New York and St. James being the standouts, and a couple of other scattered properties here or there. My brother was the clear favorite at this point, with my dad in clear second. My mom was losing right along with me. It was my turn, and I was trying to arrange a favorable trade. I'm negotiating with my dad. I have a property that'll give him another monopoly, and he has a card that'll give me a monopoly. We both have enough money and side properties to even things up afterwards. With a good trade here, we'd both have a higher chance of winning, significantly cutting into my brother's lead. Seems like it should have been a slam dunk, right? But no, my dad is pushing for the most ridiculous trades possible, and outright refusing to trade away those properties that are most valuable to me. If I don't get a monopoly out of this, I might as well not even bother with a trade. I'm getting frustrated as the negotiating stalls, but I got an idea. A terrible, terrible idea. I say to my dad, "Dad, I'm clearly in the weaker position here, but right now, that just means I have less to lose. So here's the deal. If I don't get a trade from you that gives me a monopoly, I'm going to sell all of my properties to my brother for $1. My dad didn't like that at all, and there was no trade. He also probably didn't expect me to carry through, but immediately after, I sold all my deeds to my brother for $1, and my dad lost any chance whatsoever of winning the game. My dad isn't speaking to me right now. Was that a supremely dickish move to play? Yup. I'm feeling a little vindicated though for not letting myself be pushed around when I was the little guy. But will anyone ever want to play Monopoly with me again? I kinda doubt it. I mean, that sounds about right. People don't play Monopoly because they want to have fun. People play Monopoly because they want to suffer and destroy their relationships. Today I F'd up by giving my boyfriend a DNA test for his birthday. So this happened back in August, but he finally got the results back a few weeks ago. But brace yourselves, this is some soap opera drama. Turns out, he has a half-sister and an aunt that he never knew about. Both the aunt and sister are on his dad's side of the family, so he spoke to his dad. His dad didn't know the aunt, although she shared the same last name as his family, and his dad never knew he had a daughter, but the timeline of events checked out. Next, my boyfriend went to Facebook and searched everywhere for his half-sister. She looks exactly like his dad. Needless to say, his dad was shocked. They were trying to figure out how to tell the rest of the family. My boyfriend didn't want to message her first because she may not know that she was adopted, or she might not know who her real dad was. This week, his half-sister finally messaged my boyfriend. She asked if he was adopted. He proceeded to tell her that he thought she was adopted because she looks exactly like his dad. Then she said that he looks exactly like her dad. Needless to say, everyone was confused. They sent pictures of their fathers, and my boyfriend did indeed look like her dad. But there's still this question of who's the aunt? And do the half-sister and aunt know each other? Yes they do. The half-sister said the aunt is her aunt, yet my boyfriend and aunt share the same last name? So now my boyfriend is asking his mom if there's any way that he has a different dad. She's adamant that he doesn't. Until my boyfriend shows his mom the picture of his half-sister's dad, and the mom absolutely recognizes the man. Turns out, my boyfriend's dad and mom were on a break, and his mom hooked up with this guy. His mom and dad got back together almost immediately after my boyfriend was conceived, so they assumed that my boyfriend was the product of their relationship and not her fling. They were wrong. Turns out, my boyfriend is the product of his mom's fling, and he has a dad that he never knew about. He also has 4 new half-siblings, 1 aunt, 1 uncle, 5 cousins, grandparents, and 2 nephews. All who he never knew about. And get this, one of his new siblings was born the same year as him and has the same name. As for the aunt who shares the same last name as my boyfriend, we're not sure if it's a coincidence or if she's somehow related to his adopted dad's side of the family. It's only been a few days, but everyone's taking the news surprisingly well. My boyfriend's adopted dad is such a saint and is encouraging my boyfriend to get to know his bio dad and family. My boyfriend has since been communicating with his bio dad and 2 half-siblings, and it's going great. They seem like such a kind, loving, and welcoming family. Although this was such a shock for everyone, it's turning out to be the best case scenario for such a strange situation. So yeah, I essentially gave my boyfriend a whole new family for his birthday. You're welcome, boo. Alright, this story is a little bit complicated, so I had to dive down in the comments to get a better sense of what's going on here. From what I gather, the reason why OP's boyfriend adopted father looks so much like his actual biological father is probably because his mom has a very specific taste in men. So whatever the adopted dad looks like, let's say really tall and redheaded for sake of argument, that must be the mom's type, so she found another really tall redheaded guy and slept with him. Also, the aunt with the same last name is just a weird red herring coincidence and has nothing to do with the family lineage. Basically, all you need to know is that OP's boyfriend's mom slept with another guy who looked almost exactly like her husband, which resulted in OP's boyfriend being born. Today I effed up by pranking my office like Jim from The Office. I thought it would be funny to put a Bluetooth speaker in the ceiling and play sounds of cats over it. I found an 8-hour video of cats meowing on YouTube that was perfect. I paired an old phone to the speaker, tossed the phone in a drawer of an empty desk, and tucked the speaker under a ceiling tile. It was perfect. You could only hear the cats if you listened real close. It sounded like there was a cat in the ceiling, but you really couldn't tell exactly where it was coming from. I went to my office, got busy with work, and forgot about it until I went to break. I walked into the break room, and several people were talking about the cat that must be in the ventilation system. I chuckled to myself while I grabbed my coffee and made a loop through the accounting department to see if there were any more people talking about the cat in the ceiling. To my horror, half the ceiling tiles were removed and there were 2 maintenance men on ladders looking for the cat. They were real close to the speaker, but hadn't found it yet. I just reversed out of there and went back to work. They eventually found the speaker, and shortly after, everyone got an email from the big boss reprimanding the guilty party and asking for any information on the culprit. My bad. And then OP posted an update. A conspiracy theory emerged by the end of the day. Several of my coworkers don't believe that it was a prank at all. They think the maintenance people lied about it being a prank. That maintenance made it up to get people back to work, and that maintenance is planning to set out traps and poison to kill the cat. One person claimed that they absolutely heard the cat yesterday, and I kid you not, a couple of them claimed that they still hear it. Down in the comments, I love this reply from Walker. The accounting department got shut down because Angela wouldn't let anyone do any work until the cat was saved. Today I effed up by hooking my girlfriend up with a job at the company I work for. My girlfriend and I had been dating for just shy of 6 years. We were high school sweethearts and still in school. She had always struggled with jobs and keeping them, and since we lived together, I usually had to pick up the slack. I was working as an assistant manager at a video game retail store at the time. Probably not hard to figure out which one. It was honestly an easy job as long as you gave a little effort. Pre-order here, a couple of warranty sales there. Since my girlfriend loved video games more than I did, I had the brilliant idea to get her a job here. She was an attractive girl, while 80% of our customers were neckbeards who hardly get to interact with women. Should be easy for her to make sales. There's no way she can screw this up, I said confidently to myself. As with most companies, there's a policy that people in relationships can't work at the same location. No problem. We have 12 stores in our district that are within a 5-mile radius. They seriously put these stores on every other block. I do a little digging and hook her up in a neighboring store that had a vacant position. She would also be working with the head store manager of the district, who indirectly was one of my bosses. A few weeks in, and it's going great. It took me about a year to get promoted, but she got promoted in weeks. I'm not a self-conscious person, so I didn't care. Plus, she could help pick up half the bills. Here's where I started to realize I effed up. My girlfriend comes driving in with a brand new car. Considering we were living paycheck to paycheck, I was pretty upset. I asked her where she got the car from and she told me, "I've been saving up." BS, but okay. I loved her, so as long as she's happy, I'm happy. Next comes the write-ups. I started getting write-ups and customer complaints left and right. I'm a very good employee and I very rarely make anyone upset. I couldn't even find where these customers were coming from. Even though my performance was the best out of most of the employees, I was starting to fear for my job. As to be predicted, I ended up getting fired. I tried to fight it, but I live in Texas, and the rules are that companies can fire anyone at any time for any reason. I'm absolutely crushed. I turned to my girlfriend for emotional support to find her extremely distant. She dumped me days later, double whammy. I loved her for 6 years. She told me that she felt this way for a while, that things aren't the same. I'm absolutely heartbroken. I'm angry, depressed, jobless. It felt like my life got flipped upside down. 1 week later, her Facebook status put her in a relationship with her boss, my boss. Not sure when it happened, but he bought her a car and then got me fired. It turns out that all the customer complaints about me originated from that store somehow. Total BS. I set her up to absolutely screw me over and bone my boss. I'm still a little sad about it, but it is what it is. Man, I'm sorry, but guys like that manager make no sense to me. I mean, not that he bought her a car. If that's how you want to spend your money, then go for it. But it's like, dude, you know that she's a cheater because she cheated on her boyfriend with you. So why on earth would you want to be in a relationship with a proven cheater? I just don't get it. Today I effed up by ordering not 1, but 3 adult items, getting next day delivery without realizing, and then silently watching as my dad placed them next to me. I am never living this down. This story is really standard compared to a lot of other adult-related posts here, but it's really destroyed me on an emotional and spiritual level. The first thing that you should know about me is that I'm not a very adventurous person. I barely ever have urges, I rarely think about anything like that, and my libido is comparable to that of fence posts, etc. However, I started noticing that I was becoming increasingly bitter towards things like that, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to explore that side of me, maybe bring it out a little bit more, and so I did. I bought 2 toys, nothing extravagant, just basic cheap little items, and a bottle of lube because I work smart, not hard. Things should be fine, I think to myself. I'll order them and they'll come in a week or so. No one's expecting any packages then, so there'll be no issues and they'll hand it off right to me, none the wiser. And then that didn't happen. Can you believe it? No, what actually happened was worse. And proved to me that my dad is a monstrous man who lives to cause me pain. Unbeknownst to me, I was still under my trial of Amazon Prime. I had forgotten to cancel it after buying my Vulpix plush, Sue Me, and the package shipped and arrived the next day. Even this should have been fine because no one in my family opens packages that aren't theirs except for one little thing. My package came in with my mom's packages. I didn't realize they were coming in that day, so I was still curled up in bed watching TV. When I heard the delivery truck pull up, I thought, oh cool, and went back to my show. It just so happened that my mom ordered a lot of different parts for her car, and then she assumed the box was one of hers as well without checking the label since I hadn't mentioned ordering anything to her, obviously. According to my mom, she opened it, thought, oh, my husband must have bought something. And then she checked the label and saw my name. Did she do the respectable thing and tape it back up with clear tape like nothing happened? Did she just hand it to me and walk away silently? No, she went to my dad, because of course she did. According to my mom, she walked in and said, our daughter ordered adult toys and I don't know how to handle it. And my dad shot up in bed with horror. A moment later, he giggled and jumped out of bed, taking the box from her and saying, I want to give it to her. He walks into my room. I say hey to him and sit up and look at him. He tilts the box towards me to show its contents, and then we stare at each other in silence for several seconds before he sets it down next to me with the biggest grin on his face, and then calmly walks off. I can't look at my parents in the face anymore. I might actually have to move out, COVID be damned, because my dad won't stop making jokes about it. Down in the comments, Raining Softly says, you should wash him in the dishwasher to get back at him. And OP replies, my mom said, quote, listen, if you wash them in the dishwasher, at least make sure you take them out before your little sister does the dishes. And down in the comments, we have a similar story from Festive Adam. One time, my friend made me go to an adult store with her because she was embarrassed. We were both 19 at the time. She spent over an hour talking to the shop lady about which vibrator was the quietest, and she shared a wall with her mother. I saw my friend later, and she told me she couldn't figure out how to get the vibrator to turn on, so who did she go to? Her mom. That was rSlash Today I F'd Up, and if you like this content, then check out my Patreon where I publish episodes that were too spicy for YouTube. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.